Hello and welcome to the Growth Advantage podcast. Today I'll be speaking to Victoria Ijeh, CEO and founder of Iconic Steps, a creative agency with a social impact supporting diverse young people in entering the media industry. It's great to have you here today, Victoria.
Thank you, Rebecca, for having me.
I'd love to hear a bit about your organisation and your role within it, if that's okay.
Yeah, so Iconic Steps is a social enterprise. We support young people aged 16 to 25 into careers in the creative industry. The young people we're supporting are experiencing barriers. The barriers really vary. It could be that they are unemployed, single parents, homeless. It really varies. But the key thing is that they are wanting to enter the creative industry and they kind of need that help and support to do so. And that's where Iconic Steps steps in. We support them through running training courses. We then also partner with different media organizations, some household names, but then also companies that are probably less known. They give us direct job opportunities and we connect them directly to our young people. And that's how they start their first steps into the industry. But we don't just leave it there. We have an alumni program and we support our young people in a very holistic way. And that's to make sure that once we place them in these roles and place them in the media industry, we have set them up to thrive in the creative sector. And then alongside that, we have a video production service, and that service creates content for clients, and we're kind of leading by example. So we have our young people, they support us on those productions in those entry-level kind of positions, and they get paid for that, which is quite key. And then our clients get the benefit of a great product while also supporting the next generation of talent.
Fantastic. That sounds like a really, really good mission that you've got there. And, it sounds like a great approach to helping young people who may not otherwise be able to access the industry. What key challenges would you say are facing the industry currently, and how are any of these perhaps impacting your business operations or your strategy?
So the key challenge, because we're so focused on helping that new entrants get into the industry, the key challenges are around the shortage of productions happening, and it tends to then have this knock-on impact that people are looking at retaining talent and kind of building from within. And so it leaves our young people feeling a bit kind of sad and not really understanding if the creative industry is still something that they can actually get into. And so that's one of the first key challenges that we're finding. But then also we've got the wider things that are happening in the world and Trump and everything he's doing and the kind of clamp down on DE&I. And a lot of our young people come from these diverse backgrounds. And so the idea that they're not being supported or not wanting, companies are not wanting to support them anymore or in the same ways that they used to is very worrying for our young people and how they should behave and navigate in these spaces.
And how are you dealing with that? How do you help these students, these young people, face that head on?
So we have what we call our industry insight sessions, and these are sessions where we partner with our media organizations, and we also have these sessions where we use them as like a forum for our young people to kind of share their thoughts, share their feelings, and then we can find ways of, actually bringing those kind of problems and solutions that our young people come up with and connecting them and sharing that with the media organizations. So that space, first of all, is just a space for our young people to talk and share about their feelings. And so we've been discussing internally about what that next session should look like. And there's actually one happening in the next 2 weeks that's all talking about how are diverse voices and diverse talent feeling about entering the creative sector right now.
So that sounds like you're giving them a really important sounding board there to sort of have a voice and to sort of get their feelings known and to hopefully sort of crack that issue in the industry and make sort of these companies aware of how they're making these people feel. So I really hope that has an impact and helps to change things for them. So how about finding these clients? I know you said there's a shortage of productions taking place. Would you say that is globally?
Yeah, so we mainly focus, quite a lot of our productions are based in the UK, and then even within that, a higher percentage of that is based within London. So what we have tended to do actually, so we do a lot in the film and TV space, but now we're also trying to do a lot more in the advertising space. And so even though there is kind of like an issue happening in the whole kind of production, advertising seems to be a bit more resilient to it, and there's a bit more opportunities there. So one of the key things we do with our young people is actually let them know all the different opportunities that are available to them. And even one of our partners, they talk to us a lot around like things that are not just on production, but all the different areas that are based in the creative industry as well, from the marketing all to the in-house type of opportunities. And so we very much are sharing to our young people the different ways that they can actually still work in the creative industry and how it doesn't just have to be production.
So, are your clients all sort of young people that come to you to learn these skills, or do you then find companies that you then match them to give them that career opportunity?
So if I correct me if I'm wrong, the young people that how they find out about Iconic Steps is we have been in operation now for over 13 years. And so we have got quite an established voice in the boroughs that we work in. We work heavily in the borough of Lambeth, and so a lot of like the local council will refer young people to us. And then we also work quite a lot with charity organisations that we know within the Metropolitan Police as well. And so also, like I mentioned, the Borough of Lambeth, Borough of Newham and the Borough of Westminster. So because of that word of mouth and because what we're doing is so quite unique in the fact that we're not just providing the upskilling, but then we're focusing quite heavily on the soft skills to make sure that, yes, they might have disparity in terms of their experience and their access to the creative sector, but as long as we're trying to kind of highlight and bring forth those soft skills, those really essential skills, we're trying to use that as the means to set our young people apart.
Fantastic. And are their places funded, or do they have to sort of pay for their places on your training?
So that's the beautiful thing about Iconic Steps. Everything we offer for our young people is free. And that's why
Amazing.
elements of our media partners, when we work with them and they're able to offer us sponsorship, it's really vital. But even going that step further, the video production service that we mentioned earlier, and clients being able to kind of support us and patron us through the kind of purchasing of our video production service is a way for us to make sure that the Film Academy side and the supporting of the young people can always remain free, and we can always adapt and move to the different trends that are happening. Things like AI, we can start putting courses like those things together to upskill them in different areas and not really be restricted to maybe grants and foundations that we traditionally had to go to in the past. So that's how we actually are able to keep our courses free for our young people.
A fantastic opportunity for the young people that sort of come to you. That's amazing to hear.
Definitely something I wish that I
That's such a
had.
nice thing. Yeah, it's brilliant. It's just what an opportunity for them. You know, what an amazing thing you're offering there. And how about finding clients who actually pay for the filming and production services? How do you find going around attaining clients in that area?
So I wish I had that cracked. I haven't quite yet like nailed how to do that. But the clients that we've currently worked with are companies like Credera, which is part of the Omnicom Group, and Historic Royal Palaces. So we have managed to quite work with some kind of high profile and kind of well established brands. And it tends to be a lot of word of mouth and recommendations. So we're constantly kind of trying to utilize as much of my network to try and see if they are interested in. And I've got my team who are kind of doing a lot on like LinkedIn and social media to try to let people know about us. So we kind of just do traditional forms really. There's nothing special about how we're going about trying to find clients.
How have you found attracting and retaining high quality team members for perhaps helping you with that sales and marketing side of the business? Do you have a little team in house?
Right now we've got a really fantastic team, but that hasn't always been the case. I think team and like hiring is such an important thing that I've just been recently really understanding. And I think being a young founder, especially when I started, I didn't quite understand just how much having the right team can really boost your organization, boost
Yes.
productivity versus it really kind of slowing down and kind of actually creating a culture that doesn't really strive for the excellence that you maybe as a founder kind of wants to put forward. Quite fortunate now that I do have that really good team, and they have been really kind of instrumental in being able to kind of push Iconic Steps into the new different areas. I think the marketing team that we've got at the moment has been the real highlight so far. Even managing to get this near to speaking with you, Rebecca, kind of shows that they're being active.
Fantastic. And what about sort of new technology? Do you incorporate any of that into your business at the moment to help things run smoother?
Yeah, so we've been doing a lot of AI. I think everyone's been doing that. And
Yes.
yeah, we've kind of followed the same trends. And so it's been a lot around understanding the prompts that we should be using. And in the areas, I think, of how we've been using it, I use it quite, I started to use it a lot more when I write grant applications, because that's still something that I do and falls on my shoulders. And then my team for kind of marketing, they've been using that as well to kind of just understand and do small tweaks. And we recently hired two interns, and they're kind of, it's their first job ever, and it's an initiative we did partnering with Lambeth Council. And I was even saying to them, use the AI, use those tools to help just sense check what you're doing and what you're providing. But yeah.
Yeah. Fantastic. And what does your competitive landscape look like right now? I know you're obviously quite a unique service, that you're offering and providing, but particularly when it comes to the actually selling of the filming and production side of things, what's your competition like, if there is any?
So there's a few organizations that do something similar, but there's not that many. And even when they do something similar, it's very slightly different in how they approach it. I think primarily with Iconic Steps, the difference and the uniqueness about what we do that kind of stands out from the competitors is our focus on that kind of pastoral and holistic care. So even with the video production service that we offer, clients get the exact same product that they would get from going to any other kind of production house. But it's really kind of how we incorporate and embed our mission and our values into everything we do and into the productions we create that kind of gives us that uniqueness, really.
Yes, and I guess if a company looks at two similar kind of offers but see the value and the support that you're giving to those young people, that could
Exactly.
really be a clincher for them. I can imagine that, because then they feel like they're giving those young people, that opportunity and that chance, which would be amazing.
Exactly. And a lot of organizations nowadays, they want to be doing well. And something so small and easy as, we're going to be creating a video anyway, let's go to this company that's also doing something nice. It's just a really
Yeah.
nice and simple way of embedding doing good into your business and kind of showing staff that actually you're kind of putting the money where the mouth is about saying we want to do good.
Fantastic. Yeah, it sounds like, a really nice way of thinking about it, actually. So that's really good. And going on to your personal role in the business, Victoria, what does your sort of day to day look like? What are your main responsibilities within the business?
So I'm the CEO and founder of Iconic Steps. So my role has evolved a lot from when it firstly started, and it was just me doing it, to got a team around me now. I tend to be doing a lot of kind of, or at least trying to do a lot of kind of high level strategic thinking and different meetings that I know will help push Iconic Steps further. And a lot of kind of like, for myself, a lot of self development, reading books and articles, things that will kind of trigger different thoughts and ideas and different things that I can bring to the team and push them and expand them while also kind of doing it for myself. So it can look like having, like just before this meeting, I was doing a kind of marketing conversation with that team first of all, and then in the like after this meeting now, I've got to do a kind of finance kind of review with the board. So it kind of really varies what I'm doing, but it's always, my brain is always constantly on and it's always thinking about like ways that we can improve what we're doing, how we can partner with new organizations, how we can run better courses, and just kind of seeing what other organizations are doing and seeing how we can work with them, partner with them, do, and kind of just make a bigger impact that we are currently making.
Yes, and it sounds like you have your hands full. You're very, very busy. If you could wave a magic wand, Victoria, and take away one element that you could perhaps either outsource or delegate to somebody else in your team, what might that be?
What would that be? That's a tough one. I always feel like managing people is something that is really underestimated, because everyone's beautiful and individual and unique and comes with their different personalities, and being able to navigate and draw out the best from somebody is such a unique talent to be able to do. And sometimes I get that really well and I'm just like, yes, let me give myself a pat on the back. And then other times I totally miss the mark. And so I think I would probably give that element to somebody else, because then I would hope that that person could always like get it right and probably just do better than me, because I'm always thinking about multiple things.
So just give you that headspace to focus on sort of actually helping those young people and bringing the business to them so that they can go out and have these opportunities, I suppose.
Exactly.
And then regarding the growth of the business and bringing on sort of more clients who want to use the services to give those young people the opportunities, what are the most important metrics for you right now to keep driving this business forward and keep growing?
So I think for me, the metric that we're always looking at and always want to be doing well in, first and foremost, is how many opportunities are we giving to young people, and how many of those opportunities are the young people's actually managing to take and move into a placement and move into a job. And then recently I was talking to one of our potential funders, and they were talking about this idea of retention, because I don't want Iconic Steps to just be something where we place young people into their creative industries, and then a few years later those young people drop out of the creative industries for whatever reason. So a metric that we're kind of incorporating and including now, that we're going to be tracking, is all about that retention. Like, how long are they actually staying in the creative industries? How long are they staying in these jobs? Just to find out if there's other ways that we can better support our media partners to kind of really help that kind of great talent stay in the company, stay in the industry, and progress through as well. So yeah, that's one of the key metrics that I've always got my eye on, because that's really the health that tells us we're doing what we're doing. We might be making great films and doing all these other great things, but if that really beating heart of our young people coming to us, they want to go into the creative industry, and if we're not really able to help them and sustain them into that and to make it fruitful careers, then I kind of think we've missed the mark.
So do you think that you might then start to develop perhaps either a membership scheme or a nurturing scheme where you give them ongoing support so that they are encouraged to stay in long term? And if some of them are considering potentially dropping out, finding out what those reasons are and seeing if you can make them feel more comfortable to stay in that industry?
Yeah, so actually, the really interesting thing is that we actually have an alumni cohort of over about 300 young people. And what we do is we always keep them updated, but we never actually track them. So we track them in terms of asking them questions for a 12-month period. And then after that,
Yeah.
they just kind of keep in touch with us as and when. So it's more for us making it more systemized, making it more organized, to actually kind of create a formal process of saying we're going to touch base with our alumni 3 years later and find out where they're at and what's happening and what we can do. So it's more for us to systemize that, because I know one of the things that I really wanted to do once we kind of created Iconic Steps is to have that like longevity of support. I'm a big believer of having a growth mindset and that idea of lifelong learning. And so that's one of the things we always try and share with our alumni and embody ourselves. So that basically means that as our alumni are going through their careers, there's going to be different elements that happen to them or different support that they're going to need at different times.
Yeah.
And so trying to always be there for them is the key. And we really saw that come to like light when COVID hit, because the amount of alumni that kind of came back and was like, guys, we need some support. And it felt really good, because it meant that actually it's not just something we say, but we can see it. At those times when they need us, they come back. They remember that there is this kind of family and this home for them that can still be there to support them. So for us, it's more about like, let's actually get that data now.
Yeah, and that sounds lovely. You know, that you've obviously created that ethos around what you're doing, that people want to come back to you and ask you for that support. So I can understand that sort of really looking into that deeper and making it more systemized could have real potential to support those people long term, which is fantastic.
Exactly.
And looking more sort of at the financials of the business right now, how do you manage and monitor your financial performance to ensure that you're sort of growing in the rate that you want to grow?
Yeah, so like I was saying, I've got like this board check-in for finances. So that's the first thing that they do. We have these kind of like with the finance team of the board membership. We do monthly check-ins where I kind of report to them on what's happening. But I feel like beyond that, I really empower the different staff members where they have the element of finance in their role. I really empower them to also kind of understand and take forward, okay, what does the growth look like in their area, and how can they either kind of cut costs if it needs to be cutting, or how can they generate new different ways of working. And so we really try, like I said, to embody that growth mindset and kind of everybody to be thinking about growth and development in everything that they do. And in our last vision day, actually, I kind of tasked everyone with thinking about that, even people who have no relevance to finance, to kind of really think about growth and to share ideas. So to really foster that environment. So these are the ways that I try and do it, because I don't think it doesn't sit right, and I definitely don't want it to be for me where all that kind of weight and responsibility just falls on me to try and grind away and kind of bring in that revenue. So I kind of think it's nice to actually share that with the team and actually let them know that I trust you to do this. Like, this is something that we're all going towards together.
And what are your goals for the next, say, 6 to 12 months within the business?
So, key goals is like the first and foremost, just supporting our young people. And with us, we are really looking at supporting them primarily into the creative industry. But then we have some young people who realize that actually, for one reason or another, the industry doesn't work for them. So then just helping them into careers. And then we have some young people who are really far from the labour market. And so helping them to make one step further, which could be like volunteering, for instance. So that's our first and foremost kind of main objective, just to always make sure we are supporting our young people and that they know that we're here when we need them. Then the second one is really about trying to reach out to as many organizations that want video content or who are thinking about having video content, whether it's for internal use or kind of social media and comms. It kind of really varies, but just making sure that as many organizations know that Iconic Steps is a potential option for them to kind of work with us. That's another really big push for us, because we're known quite well, like I mentioned, in the kind of film academy space. And so we're trying to bring up that same kind of brand recognition for the video production space as well.
Again, what, if any, initiatives have you tried so far to get that outreach out there? Have you had any sort of bad experiences or anything positive that's helped you sort of grow in that sector?
So the majority of the experiences we have had is through word of mouth and people kind of knowing about us. And so we've been quite passive, I suppose, in how we've gone about it. And so this year it's been very much proactive. We have taken the first foot forward type of thing. And so it's about just actively kind of asking people, do you know anybody who wants video production support, or can you refer us to somebody? So for us, it's been very much turning the passiveness into an active step forward. And ultimately that wouldn't be possible without a good team. And so the first step was having that good team, which we have now. And then now we're kind of laying the land to try and see if we can actually be active about it.
Fantastic. Well, I really hope that you manage to gain traction in that part of the business, and that people get to know about the great work that you're doing. And finally, Victoria, is there anything else that you'd like to share with us about your business, where people can find you, any events that you may have coming up, or anything else like that at all?
Yeah, so I think the final kind of words I'll probably want to say about Iconic Steps is just the fact that it's soft skills. I think for young people up to the age of 25 is such a key area of development for them. And when people are thinking about their recruitment pipeline, I'd probably also be thinking about including those sorts of elements, especially when you're talking about candidates or young people who don't have as much experience, but they do, and they are bringing forward those essential soft skills, and they're bringing that to the table. So really recognizing that, and that's something that Iconic Steps really focuses on. And then I think the final thing would just really be around organizations. If you know somebody who is in a company that is interested in making video content, to have a think about us and to find out about us on our websites. Then also we're also looking at like board members. So if anybody is interested in kind of wanting to join a board like for an organization that's supporting young people, supporting diverse talent, that's something that they should reach out to us. And we're looking for also kind of organizations and people who are willing to kind of sponsor or fund our celebration gala, which is an event that takes place in September, where we just really celebrate our young people and celebrate their achievements and what they've done to date. And so if anyone's also looking to say, we might not look for video work and we might not want to be on the board, but we actually have some capacity or resources to actually give towards that event and make it such a beautiful celebration, then please do reach out as well.
Well, thanks ever so much, Victoria, for your time today and for sharing your insights in your business. It's been great to hear about it and to hear about the opportunities that you're giving to these young people. It's absolutely amazing. Really do wish you every success for the future.
Thank you. It was nice speaking to you, Rebecca.
You too. Thanks very much. Goodbye.